What it do, what it do. This is the Brothers on Books podcast, where we find great books that will give you real value and actionable steps and have fun in the process. Please reach out to us at brothersonbooks@gmail.com for any book recommendations, or if you'd like to be a guest host for a particular book you have in mind. A great review or rating on whichever platform you're listening to this would be greatly appreciated. If you can think of any friend, family member, or coworker that might like this episode, please pass it along. For the original episodes, the OGs, please visit brothersonbooks.com. I'm Jack Alwell, and with me, as always, is my brother Alex Alwell. Al, how you doing today?
Doing good, Jack. How you doing?
I'm doing quite well. It's been, another long day on the floors of my house trying to get this laminated. That's what I can
Okay.
say.
How's it coming?
I'm close. I'm close. Putting quarter round in and just trying to shore up these little holes on the edges.
Okay.
So
Looks
it's
like you
fun times had by all. So
looks like you
how's it?
just gave yourself a patented Jekyll oil haircut as well.
That's right. I did. Well, I mean, you can't see the back, so I can't really tell you how it looks in the back. But yeah, it's fresh. It's fresh.
Super fresh.
So what are you up to, Ali Bear?
I have I got qualifying. I'm trying to play pro in Atlanta this upcoming weekend. We have qualifying on Wednesday. It seems like it's going to be a pretty brutal process. There are four qualifying spots in the main draw, and there are 40 teams in the qualifying event. So it's going to be a grind to get through.
Okay.
Hopefully, me and this kid that I have met on the internet can do it. And when I say
Okay.
kid, I mean an actual kid because he's like 17 years old.
Okay.
So we'll see.
Okay. You will see. So
Yeah.
so with that said, Ali Bear, what do we have on the agenda for today?
Season 7 book draft. And everyone
Awesome.
knows that the seventh season is the best of every series. So
Mm-hmm.
we got big shoes to fill right here.
Yeah. And
So
before
I
we get
guess,
into the draft, I've been getting a lot of questions on what actually is matcha because people are confused about our Encha affiliate. And so if you click the link below or use the coupon code, you will get 20% off your matcha products. Now, matcha is basically a high grade green tea ground into powder form. And, typically you whisk it in hot water. And while matcha's origins are ceremonial, the green tea powder is widely popular around the world in beverages like tea lattes or boba tea. And as a cooking ingredient, everything from ice cream to salad dressing. I actually didn't know you could use it in salad dressing, but I might have to try that out. But I drink matcha almost every day in my frappuccinos that I make, and they are wildly delicious. So check it out.
I guess that's the reason why I call you the Matcha Man.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
I guess with that said, Jackie boy, you wanna lead us off in this
Yes.
seventh season of the Brothers on Books podcast?
It would be my honor to. And my first selection related to a Nassim Taleb book. And I believe this guy is quite close. I've heard him interviewed with Tim Ferriss and Taleb. So this is Scott Patterson's Chaos Kings.
What is
How
it?
Wall Street traders make billions in the new age of crisis. It's called
Chaos
Chaos Kings.
Chaos Kings, and that was Scott Patterson,
Yep.
TT.
Yep.
Yeah. And then how many pages?
Mm, we'll say 280.
Okay. So my first book, uh, I listened to this author for the first time speak on the Patrick Bet-David podcast, which I know you listen to. It's the guy by the name of God Saad, and the book is The Parasitic Mind: How
Okay.
Infectious Ideas Are Killing Common Sense. And it is 256 pages.
Okay. God Assad. Wow, what a name.
I think he's Lebanese, I believe.
Okay. So my next pick, I mean, he's no or like unknown person by any means, but I also heard him interviewed on Patrick Bet David recently, and I hadn't heard his story in a while, and I've looked through his book at Barnes and Noble a couple times, but now I'm even more intrigued and want to read it. And this is Tom Brady's book, The TB12 Method: How to Do What You Love Better and for Longer. Now, I think this is like a lot of pictures and exercises and diets, but he's got some interesting things. He's all about that pliability, and he's got a crazy diet. So I think this book shares a lot of that. So it should be interesting.
What's the pages?
Let's see.
It's okay if you don't have it off the top of your head.
It says 336, but there's so many pictures. It's like,
okay, that's fine.
Not really. Yeah.
Okay, so my second book, this is a pretty well-renowned scientist, I would say, from the past probably 30 years, but it is The Selfish Gene by Richard Dawkins. This would kind of be he would be somewhat of the antithesis to Darwin's Black Box that I think we did as like episode, I don't even remember what it was, like 11 or 12. But I've heard him talk a lot, and he's a good talker, and he's a good talker. He's good when he speaks, and so I'm interested to have to hear what he says. And this is about 225.
Cool. Okay, so we said we were going to pick a fiction book, and since this is falling around Christmas, I thought I'd kick it old school to a classic, A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens. I have not read this book in like 20 years, and I thought it would be a fun thing. And my wife, who is European, had never heard of this book, so I was like, "What? You've never heard of A Christmas Carol?" So yeah, figured we should read this, and this is like 110 pages or 112 pages, something like that.
I don't want you to take this the wrong way, but I'm actually surprised that you had read A Christmas Carol before.
Middle school, we all had to read it. It's one of my very few books I think read, and I mean really ever until I was like 27 years old.
Okay, I've actually never read A Christmas Carol. So you've had this sort of renaissance of reading, Jack, but I feel like you never really were one with the science fiction books. So I picked this book called The Player of Games.
Okay. I actually like some sci-fi.
I'm sure you do.
Yeah.
So this is a book where it's literally about a society that revolves around essentially like a board game that they base their entire culture on. And it's about how this other society tries to send someone in to beat all of their best players to take over their like culture.
How did you find this book?
How did I find this book? This was recommended to me ages ago. And I always sort of found it intriguing. So
wait, here's a question. So when I typed in Player of Games on Amazon, there's like these like
it's part of
parentheses, like it says like culture 2. So we want like just the number 1 or what?
No. You want culture 2.
So it's the second book in the series?
Jack?
Yeah, you cut out. I just asked. It's the second book in the series.
Yeah, it is. It's not a requirement to read the first book. I have read this before, and I did not feel lost the first time I read it.
Okay.
It is a little bit. It's like 400 pages, but it's not. It did not take me a long time to get through. It was very easy to read, from what I remember.
So one might ask, if you've already read it, why are you picking it again?
Well, I could
even though I've read Christmas Carol, but it's been 20 years for me. Yeah.
mean,
How long?
It's been like 10 years for me.
Okay, okay. Okay. Player of games. Okay, so we got Chaos Kings, Parasitic Mind, TB12 Method, Selfish Gene, A Christmas Carol, and Player of Games. And these are starting October 29th, releasing every 2 weeks after. So it should be a good set of episodes.
Yeah, looking forward to it.
Yeah. What are your first impressions of my picks?
I didn't actually realize Tom Brady had written a book.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, it's like it's like it's not really like a. I mean, you're gonna see like a lot of pictures of him doing like stretches and like recipes, but when I heard him on Patrick Bet David, and I remember kind of thinking when he was like early 30s, I thought he was like almost done. There was a couple starts of his seasons and I'm like, man, he looks like he's losing like a step and like he's lost some zip. And he talked on that interview how when he got to like 35, he actually started feeling better than when he was at 30. And a lot of it had to do with his nutrition and this new regimen he was put on. So and that's when he said, I think I can play another 10 years. So I'm intrigued to
All
see
right,
what's in this book.
I would definitely be interested in that as well.
Yeah. So he is a freak. So freakishly disciplined. So pretty cool. Okay. And his Selfish Gene, is that so? You said it's like the opposite of Darwin's Black Box.
So this in and of itself is not, but the author very
Gotcha.
much a evolutionary biologist. So I some of the first times I ever heard him talk was him debating. I mean, he's like a militant atheist, so I would hear him debate in like God debates a
Okay.
lot. And this is just one of his most, I think, known books.
Okay. Very cool. Okay.
All righty.
You want to take us out, Allie Bear?
Uh,
Or you want me to take us out?
you take us out.
Okay. With that said, please reach out to us at brothersonbooks@gmail.com for any book recommendations, or if you'd like to be a guest host for a particular book you have in mind. A great review or rating on whichever platform you're listening to this would be greatly appreciated. And lastly, if you can think of any friend, family member, or coworker that might like this episode, please pass it along. Don't you forget that 20% off Encha Matcha link below. And with that said, I'm Jack Alwell. With me, as always, is my brother Alex Alwell. Al, have a great night.
Jack Town. Keep it real.
Bye.